morning. You're watching the news on African Free Press Television. We're broadcasting from the nation's capital, Abuja. My name is Leo Oketa. These are the stories we're tracking for you at this moment. A second round of investigation into the $2.1 billion arms deal is to be commenced by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, today. At top of the probe agenda is how the Jonathan administration spent €3,654,121 to purchase security vehicles for the Republic of Niger in October 2013 and April 2014. The cash was withdrawn from the Office of the National Security Advisor account in two installments of €1,401,869 and €2,252,252. The Commission is also seeking to verify whether or not the vehicles were bought and under what diplomatic or bilateral security cooperation. It was gathered that it would require finding out from the Republic of Niger if there was such assistance from Nigeria. The agency plans to quiz a number of more public figures, including Minister of Finance in the Jonathan administration, Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, some ex-service chiefs and 7 military officers in connection with the $2.1 billion arms deal. And detectives of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, yesterday arrested the National Publicity Secretary of Nigeria's leading opposition party, the People's Democratic Party, PDP, Mr. Olisa Metuh. 4 EFCC detectives carried out the arrest of Mr. Metuh at his number 14 Drive 1 Princess Estate home near the Abuja Games Village yesterday. The anti-corruption agency, which is probing the $2.1 billion arms contract, is said to have traced 1.4 billion naira to the account of a company allegedly linked with Olisa Metuh, which is Destra Investments Limited. The account of the company, Destra Investment Limited, is said to have been frozen while activities of the company and its bank transactions have been placed under surveillance. Going by reports, EFCC investigators discovered that Destra Investment Limited may have been used to fund the PDP's activities, including its 2015 campaign. To end this, the EFCC found that the company, which had 6,676,576 naira as of November 24, 2014, recorded a balance of 1.4 billion naira by December 2015. Some of the strange deposits in the accounts are 400 million naira from the Office of National Security Advisor on November 24, 2014, 253 million naira on December 2nd and 4, 2014 from Ibrahim Kabiru, whose identity is yet to be confirmed, 91 million naira on 2nd December 2014 from Capital Field Investments, and 92 million on 3rd December 2014 from Etonye Oyinto Neife. And the People's Democratic Party, however, in a statement dismissed President Buhari's anti-corruption war as being targeted at the opposition with a view to destroying the party ahead of 2019 elections. The current spate of arrests of high-profile opposition figures lends credence to the position which analysts say may just sound the death knell of Nigeria's democracy and civil liberties. And meanwhile, a chieftain of the People's Democratic Party in Lagos State, Dr. Adebola Dominic, has urged the federal government to also beam its searchlight on former and serving governors of the All Progressive Congress APC, who allegedly frittered state resources at their disposal on electioneering campaign during the just concluded general elections. Speaking in a chat with Daily Independent, Dominic, a former governorship aspirant in Lagos, said there is no need marked difference between the crime committed by the former National Security Advisor Sambo Dasuki, who allegedly diverted funds meant for purchase of arms, and APC governors who frittered taxpayers' money on sponsoring the APC presidential campaign. While welcoming the probe and prosecution of Dasuki and all those who partook in the scandal, Dominic said the measure should also be applied to former and serving APC governors instead of rewarding them with appointments. And now, away from the corruption saga, President Muhammadu Buhari has said his administration will look inwards, enforce regulations, and stop financial leakages to adopt global best practices in generating more revenue to mitigate the effect of dwindling oil prices on the Nigerian economy. He said this on Tuesday at the presidential villa in Abuja when he received the managing director of the International Monetary Fund (IMF), Ms. Christine Lagarde, who said that given the zeal and determination she had seen in the Buhari administration, the country did not need any IMF program, but advised Nigeria to be more flexible in its monetary policies. Lagarde is on a walking visit to Nigeria ahead of the scheduled visit by the fund's experts to examine the country's economic progress. President Buhari said that his administration would also enforce greater discipline, probity and accountability in all revenue-generating agencies of the federal government. The IMF boss is set to meet with the Nigerian Senate President Bukola Saraki today to discuss ways to improve the country's economy, as revealed by Saraki's Special Advisor on Media and Publicity, Yusuf Olaniyan. And Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation (NNPC) has announced that the nation's three refineries in Kaduna, Port Harcourt and Warri have attained a combined daily production of 6.76 million litres of petrol per day, which is projected to increase to over 10 million litres per day by the end of January 2016. In a press statement by the NNPC signed by its Group General Manager, Public Affairs, Mr. Ohi Alegbe, and made available to newsmen yesterday in Abuja, gave a breakdown of the PMS from the plants, indicating that while Port Harcourt refinery was restreamed in a week earlier, is producing some 4.09 million litres. The Kaduna refinery is contributing some 1.29 million litres, and Warri, which was restreamed recently, is posting a yield of some 1.38 million litres. And South Africa's governing African National Congress says it will push for tougher legislation to jail anyone guilty of racial bigotry or glorifying apartheid. Black people could no longer be treated as subhumans, it said. The nation has been gripped by a racism row after Penny Sparrow, an opposition Democratic Alliance member, on Facebook called black people monkeys. She denied she was a racist. The DA party, however, suspended her membership. The racially discriminatory apartheid system ended in South Africa in 1994. It had been introduced in 1948 by the then white minority government and was later declared by the UN as a crime against humanity. And the former Nigerian Minister of Petroleum Resources, Mrs. Diezani Alison Madueka, strongly stated that all transactions made during her tenure went through due process, as against insinuations that she looted $20 billion. She made this known last year in London during an interview session with the CEO of Ovation magazine, Mr. Dele Momodu. Ms. Madueke explained that virtually all the transactions in respect of which allegations of corruption had been leveled against her went through due process, and that the group managing director of NNPC was actively involved in ensuring that the best international practices were maintained. She added that her involvement in the conclusion of these transactions was limited and that some of the contracts had been executed before she became the Minister of Petroleum Resources. Mrs. Madueke noted that in some of the cases, she only got details after the contracts had been concluded when approached by some businessmen who complained about the terms. And now over to foreign scene. North Korea says it has successfully tested a miniaturized hydrogen bomb, which, if confirmed, will be its fourth nuclear test in 2006. It came after a 5.1 magnitude quake was detected close to its nuclear site at Punggye-ri, indicating a test may have been conducted. This is North Korea's first claim to have tested a hydrogen nuclear bomb more powerful than an atomic bomb. International experts have cast doubt over the North's nuclear capabilities. And meanwhile, the United Nations Security Council is planning to meet today, January 6th, to discuss North Korea's latest reported nuclear test. Speaking to reporters on condition of anonymity late on Tuesday, the diplomat said the meeting would probably take place at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. One diplomat said the meeting will be held behind closed doors. And now over to sports. Zinedine Zidane, who has been named the new coach of Los Blancos, took his first training session in charge of Real Madrid on Tuesday in front of around 6,000 fans at Ciudad Real Madrid, the club's training grounds. The 43-year-old former player was appointed as the club's head coach on Monday following the dismissal of Rafael Benitez, who had drawn 5 and lost 3 of his 25 games in charge. Zinedine Zidane, who won a La Liga title and the Champions League during his time at the club as a player, will take to the Santiago Bernabeu dugout as a manager for the first time against Deportivo La Corona on Saturday. Ahead of the league clash, the former France international instructed his first session and the club's first of the calendar year, which Madrid traditionally allows members of the public to watch. And these are the stories we're tracking for you coming from African Free Press Television. For more, please do log on to our website at www.africanfreepress.com. Follow us on Twitter at African Free Press. Like our Facebook page at africanfreepress.com. Do join us in our various discussions on interesting topics at African Free Press Forum and subscribe to our YouTube channel at African Free Press. From me, Leo Oketa, and the whole team in the studio, this is the news as edited by Chialiko Vitasie. Do enjoy a lovely day. Bye-bye.